Oh my gosh, you guys. I shot the podcast last night with Piper Clem and with a lot of other amazing guests. And we went to the after party at her house, which was lovely. I ended up staying at her house because my Airbnb was like literally across the street, and I was like, I don't want to go by myself. So I just stayed with all the girls at the house, at Piper's house. And so I think we went to bed at like 1:30 or 2, and I was up at 5:30. So because my flight, I was up at 5:30, but my flight wasn't until 8. So, but I was like, when you have a flight and you're just so worried that you're going to miss it, that you just like cannot function. So that was me. So I was up, and it also gets like crazy or like bright there. It was 5:30 in the morning. The sun was up. I was up with the sun. So excuse me if I'm all over the place, but I just wanted to come on. So I came into the office today because I had a Safe House, my Safe House EQ meeting, which is my community platform for barn owners and horse trainers to learn about marketing. And so it's free for the month of July. So we've been doing some really cool things in there if you guys want to join us. But so I had a meeting with them today to go over, their assignments and, talk about the topic for the week. And this week we talked about content calendars and content pillars and all those things. So all those fun marketing things that everybody needs to know before they get started. And so I knew I had to come in today, and I just was debating on if I wanted to record this episode or not, because I'm just so tired. Because I haven't slept truly in the past week. So, and I'm nervous because my throat's starting to get a little scratchy. So I'm like, oh God, if I start getting sick. We have summer camp this coming weekend, so I really hope that doesn't happen. But with all that to be said, I want to talk about Inside the Ingate. We had the live premiere last night. So it doesn't go live on YouTube until Friday, but I wanted to have a live premiere, live showing at the podcast, and it was a surreal moment for me. Let me just walk you through this, okay? So the night before, I was hit with some pretty intense anxiety because, as you guys know, and you probably can relate to, whether it's work, personal life, whatever, when you've worked really hard on something, whether you're like hosting a party, whether you have a horse show, whether you have a big work thing, and it's the night before and you've worked really hard on it and you just really want it to come to fruition and be successful, you have those jitters, right? So I was a little jittery the night before, and so I was up and ready to go, got to the airport early, and everything was going so well. Piper and I recorded a great podcast episode, and I was actually not nervous. I met some really incredible women. Tori Sheehan, one of them, who is a fellow creative who I absolutely adore. And Piper's right-hand girl, Brooke, was lovely. And Kennedy, one of her interns. I mean, just incredible women. Surrounded myself with great people. And it just truly filled my cup up. When you just are around people that just fill your cup up, that's what this, although I am tired, it was 100% worth it. So I went into the event last night, and I just honestly, when I sat down, first of all, Piper told me everyone's going to be in the front row. So I sat in the front row like a loser, and nobody else was up there. So, but it's fine. I got to see it front row. And I kind of was sat all the way back in my chair. At the movie theater, when you slouch all the way back, because I was trying to hide, and I'm sure all you could see was my bow at the top of the seat. And it was so crazy to watch it on a huge screen, and movie theater screen. I mean, this was a huge movie theater, movie theater. And it was such an incredible experience. Truly just, I mean, I had butterflies and knots in my stomach the entire time, but nonetheless, it was 100% worth it. And, I just want to toot Piper's horn for a second, because she has, you guys will obviously see her in the show, and I just want to commend her so much because she's doing so. I don't even think people. I don't even think, or I don't know if people know the amazing things that she's doing and who she is and what she stands for. I mean, if you guys read her writing, you guys are definitely aware and understand, and you're a fan. And I think the greatest thing about Piper is that she's not afraid to talk about the difficult things. She's not afraid to write about them, not afraid to bring up that discussion. And I just commend her so much for that because I am the same. You know, I feel like I don't mind bringing up the hard things. I mean, and I think that that's really important in this sport. And we'll get to the premise of Inside the Ingate here in a second, but it's just so refreshing. It's so refreshing to have someone that is like-minded and that feels the same and that supports the same message and that is a woman business owner that you can support, you can lift up. And it's just such a refreshing thing. Truly, it's so wonderful. And so hats off to Piper. She's incredible. You guys are going to truly fall in love with her in the series. And I think you guys will really find her extremely relatable. So moving on to I got a question last night. So we had a live Q&A and I got a question last night and I have been mulling on it for the past 12 hours or however long, for the past almost 24 hours. And I was really taken aback when I got the question, and I watched it back this morning of how I responded, and I'll play it for you guys.
I was really moved by this question of getting involved and getting engaged in sports documentary. I'm a person who loves documentaries, even in sports that I don't play, and I think they're really interesting pieces of work. And some of the things that Jeff and, I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name at the end. Philip? Yeah. You guys talked about things like dealing with some of the things in the equestrian sport through helping others, through being really involved, really engaged with the people involved in the sport. And I guess as I was watching the documentary, I'm curious, who's your intended audience? It feels very myopic to me. And I don't mean that to sound critical, but it just felt very, like, who are you selling this to? Who are we supposed to be as the audience members? Because I didn't see any of that engagement. And I loved the stories, and I of course love Piper and you know, come from a background where people compete. But I'm not really sure who that story is for, and how do we draw in some of the maybe more altruistic components?
So as I said before, great question. So really the inspiration behind the docuseries is showcasing the behind the scenes part of the sport. So a lot of these riders, I think, such as the professionals mostly, I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes and all you see is the highlight reel. And so really I just wanted to showcase a little bit more relatability, a little bit what goes on behind the scenes, a little bit more about, and you'll see as the series goes on, how they prepare, how they are mentally, and the amateurs too, what their stories are. And I think, again, when you're showing at a level at Devon where you have to qualify and all of those things, there are a lot of stereotypes that go on, and I'm in the media a lot, and there's so much talk of who those people are before their voices are even heard. So I wanted to give an opportunity for people who everybody knows, and then people who you've never heard of, and give them the opportunity to tell their story. And whether you were a mom out of Delaware, or you were Piper Clem, or you were Nick Haynes, like, it doesn't really matter. Really just showcasing who those people are and giving them the opportunity to tell their story the way that they want to tell it, and kind of just an inside look of the sport itself.
So your intended audience is people within the sport?
Yes. And but I think I responded really well. I don't have anything critical to say about my response, and I also don't have anything critical to say about her question, because the question has really sparked a lot of internal questions in myself and the narrative of the docuseries, and the intent and what this docuseries is and what the mission of the piece of content is. And I think it's really important as a creator to have that intent really clear. And, I'm doing my best to, I've never produced a long form piece of content like that. Every piece of content I've produced has always been relatively short form, or, a narrative based piece like this, where I'm just talking and I can speak the narrative, right? So visually telling a story is very different, especially when it's something that's so close to you. Like horses are so close to me. So I think sometimes it's a little bit more challenging for me to see things, and which is why I brought a film crew on that is not inside the horse world, so that they could shoot it in a very different perspective. So the intent behind Inside the Ingate is relatability and vulnerability, and showcasing the sport in a lens that isn't so polished. It's not so crystal diamond clear and with rose colored glasses, so to speak. We want to see, and I think that kind of goes with the brand of KB Media, and that kind of goes with the brand of myself, is our foundation and our morals have always set on authenticity and relatability, and it's shining through in this piece of content. So I don't think people really understand how intense this sport really is. And for those of you that are in it, you obviously know. But for those viewers that are not inside the equestrian space, it's really hard to grasp and understand the level of stress and anxiety. And of course, you could equate it to any like high performance or sport, golf, F1, like any of those things that like where you are performing and you have to be on your P's and Q's and all those things. So you can imagine that it's a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety, and maybe not for the professionals, and everybody has their own unique spin on their anxiety and what they're nervous about, what they're anxious about, what they're excited about. So I really think that it's important to notice that, and that everybody has their own story. And so when I got pitched this question last night, it kind of caught me off guard, but in a good way. I was really trying to get with this person after the show, to kind of pick their brain. I didn't get to her fast enough, but to pick her brain and kind of, because I really appreciated that she was able to ask that question, and that it allowed me to ask myself that question and how I'm visually representing the answer. So it's definitely it's made me, obviously, of course, like I said to my husband, he's like, well, how did it go? And I was like, well, it was really great. It was so good. And I had the greatest time. And, did I have like this notion? I think when you're a creator, I think when you're just a person in general and you create something, your thought and your hope, your wish, your dream is that you walk in, everyone sees your creation, and they're just like, standing ovation. It's amazing. I love it. Great job. I'm going to share it with all of my friends. Like, that's your goal. Like, that's like the ultimate dream, right? But like, how would it feel to actually win if you never go through these like hurdles, right? How would it feel to just like, oh, well, everybody loves it, so guess don't have to try so hard. And I think that it's important to go through these things. And I think that this is all part of the journey. So it's tough. It's tough to internally go through those things. And it's especially when you're putting yourself out there so publicly, it's really scary. But it also is this challenge that, mostly internal, all internal challenges that you're dealing with on the inside that, you're fighting against, and like nobody else is fighting these fights. Like no one else is even thinking about it probably. And you are thinking about it so much. So it's, I'm sure you guys can relate to that and have had similar experiences. And if you haven't, I think that's fantastic. And I wish I, it's just part of your journey, right? It's just all part of your journey. And I think it's important for me personally to go through those things to get better, to become a better storyteller, and to have a better show through and through. So that's all that needs to be learned from that. I'm not going to try to be too critical of myself because I really am good at that. I'm really good at being critical of myself. So I don't want to like totally shit on myself because self-deprecation is just not cute on anyone. So I'm very proud of everything that my team has put into this. Truly so proud. I mean, watching it on that screen last night was a really incredible experience, one that I will never forget. And I just really think that the drive behind this show, the drive behind Inside the Ingate, is truly the stories. These are the stories of riders that some people know really well and some people don't know. And the fact that we are all worried about the same things. Professionals have a different dynamic, but you'll see in the show that they're a different dynamic, but they still have things to worry about that maybe that the amateurs don't, and vice versa. And that's why I wanted to put amateurs and professionals in there together, because I think that a lot of the time that there's a lot of common misconceptions that the professionals have it really easy, or a lot of common misconceptions that this sport is easy, and that you are at a certain level if you're competing at Devon, that this is just an easy road for you. And I'm here to tell you it's not. It's not an easy road. You're riding a 1,200-pound animal, and the potential of things going awry and things, not going your way is, you could be the best rider in the world, and everybody on our show talks about this openly in this season. And so you guys are going to get to see that. And that's not something that's really shown a lot. And we talked a lot about that last night. We talked about that this is not a highlight reel. This is the real deal. This is the real mistakes, the real failures, the real highs, the real lows of every part of this sport. And while some days, some rides are easy and wonderful and you get great scores, and then the other days you walk out feeling great and then you come out of the ring and you're like, what the hell just happened? Right? So not every day is going to be a great day. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be things that everybody works through, because it's all about the journey. This is not, this isn't about a single moment in time. This is all about what it takes for these riders to get to where they are now, and then how they handle it and how you can relate to them. So that is the premise of the show, and that is what drives the show. And I think as the show evolves, you're going to see storytelling in a bit of a different way, in unique ways, and I'm excited about that. But I also, I think doing it the way that we've done it, in terms of doing it at horse shows, specifically at certain shows and, whatnot, the reason that I did that is because in my experience, I take a lot of my inspiration from myself and my own experiences. These shows mean different things to different people. And Devon specifically is such a historical show. It's a historical, event. And I think it's an honor to be able to be a part of it. And, WEC is a little bit different. And I think when we shot season 1, it was a little bit of a, scramble moment anyway, because of the approval process and all of that. But when we went to Devon, we kind of knew what we were getting into, and the fact that it was such a diverse show and it's the oldest show in the country, and all of those things are really, really valuable and important about it. And it means something personally to me and to a lot of people. So that's why I picked Devon, and I want to continue to select these boutique shows that are, I would love to do the series stuff, but I would really like to focus on these boutique shows that have a really strong history, and people love going to them because of that history and because of those emotional and, nostalgic athletic ties. So all of that is really important to me because I think that's a huge part of the sport. So, you know, I wanted to just kind of come on and talk about my experience of what has happened in the past couple days, because I'm sure you can tell on my face if you're watching this, or even in the sound of my voice if you're just listening. I feel a little, you know, monotoned, but it's not because I'm not excited, because I'm over the moon and I'm just so proud. And it's hard for me to say that. It really is. It's hard for me to be proud of myself, and I need to be better about doing that. But we have a lot of great stuff coming up this week, and we have Equestrian Adult Amateur Summer Camp, which everybody has been so positive about. Like, the response that we've gotten is just so incredible. So I really appreciate that. And the support of this community, I really do feel, we talked a lot about that yesterday on Piper's show, and I really want to bring the positivity to this community, this platform, this space. And I think that we're on the way. Like, I feel good. Last week, I probably didn't feel as good. This week, I feel so much better. I feel like we're on our way. I feel like it's just, you know, and, you know, people are always going to be negative, and that's okay. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I just feel good about it. I mean, and it's probably because I'm coming off of being with people that fill my cup up, and I feel so great about it, and I'm ready for a great week. And my horse got shoes today. So that's a good day, you know, if you know, you know. So I just appreciate all of you guys. And the more that we get into this process, my counterpart isn't with me today. And I've been shooting a lot without her. She's always with me, cause I love her. But you know, I always this is my outlet. This is my platform. I love communicating with you guys. And even if Alexis isn't here, you know, she's with us in spirit always, and she'll be here next recording. So don't you worry. She's not going anywhere. But I appreciate you guys. I really, really am excited to get this out to you guys. By the time this comes out, the show will probably be released. And if you need to know where to find it, it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be KB Media Equine Official, Inside the Ingate Season 2 docuseries, whatever you want to put in the search bar. Make sure you guys subscribe to it. Make sure you leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think. And that's, you know, that's another thing that I really want to talk about before we scoot is, you know, this question that I got asked last night really has me thinking about content in general. And I want to know from you guys what you guys feel is content that is missing in this space. Like, what pieces of content do you think are missing? You know, is it the authenticity? Is it the behind the scenes? Are you guys happy with the type of content that's out there right now? Are you into the more polished content? Do you like seeing the really, you know, pristine and, you know, butterflies and rainbows vibes? Like, and that's okay. Literally no judgment. I really just want to know what you guys think is lacking in the industry, because that's the space that I'm in. So I just want to know what you guys think. So drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe. We have a lot of fun things coming, and I'm going to get some sleep, because I just feel like as we're talking, my eyes are just getting lower and lower and lower. So next time you see us, I'll be with my my counterpart, Lexi Girl, and yeah, we'll just keep on rocking and rolling. So until then, guys, I appreciate you as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.